This is Corinthian bringing you guys a quick Kingdoms at War video talking about the PvE or Player vs. Environment update that will be hitting KW around May 6th. So, it's already been talked about. I've already answered a lot of the questions. I haven't added a few of the answers to the big thread that is currently in the feedback section back when the developers announced it formally. Back when, I don't know, let's say 2 weeks ago, but it is 51 pages long now, so I'm going to go ahead and consolidate that thread into one video. I'm going to try to keep it one video in all that good shortness, try to show you guys a little bit of random Kingdoms at Warring at the same time, but I have also put all of the notes into a nice little notepad so I don't forget anything. So going quickly into the PvE update stuff, I'm going to go ahead and just read off basically what's in that post that developers put up. There's going to be new boss encounters. Clan will be facing unworldly beasts. Clans will be facing unworldly beasts that have invaded the kingdoms. You're going to fight them and win rewards of hoarded gold. And after the PvE update, devs will improve the PvE system that they release on May 6th or around then. And they are going to rework the warring system, as currently there's several different ways you can exploit it, notably the Plunder War system. But they'll get to that after they're done with PvE. Plunder Wars are going to stay in place for anybody who's scared that Plunder Wars are in fact going to go ahead and be removed. But instead, PvE clan bosses and or missions, as that seems to be the key term that's going to be coming up, will be making comparable gold to Plunder Wars in, if not like more than Plunder Wars. That's kind of hard to believe, more than Plunder Wars, but bear with me. It'll make comparable, if not more gold than Plunder Wars in less time. So expect it to slowly take over Plunder Wars as PvE gets more and more detailed, as I'm going to be calling the update PvE or PvE update or stuff like that. PvE is player versus environment, aka not involving player-to-player interactions. This means you're not attacking some other player for money. You're questing or doing a mission or hitting a monster. That's the idea of PvE for anybody who's going, what is PvE? I don't know, because we haven't really used that term here in KW that much. It is a PvP-based game up until now. Spies, Hansel builds, aka I have one troop building, therefore I'm not a spy build, and other mixed builds will be able to participate in the PvE system. And something I did not add to the notes, but which was added when they told me, is that they will be in fact required in order to complete certain missions. Again, this will be at the end. I'll get to the whole missions bit and exactly what else is going on there. NPC, aka non-player characters, robots, stuff that's been coded in to do stuff. They're not going to fight back in the first patch, but they might in the second patch. They're still trying to decide this. Remember, it's supposed to make as much, if not more, than a Plunder War. If they're hitting back, that's going to be kind of hard. But they're thinking about it, so maybe. It's not going to replace Plunder Wars overnight. I already said this. This is mainly so that the player base is retained, because right now a good majority of the community has been doing the whole Plunder War system for a good, say 6 to 8 months as a necessary evil. So we don't want to just immediately get rid of Plunder Wars and then have that huge chunk of the community go, oh, well, they just removed the game, basically. So we're going to be phasing that out over time. Achievements are not planned for this update. I'm going to go ahead and actually talk more about the achievement bonuses, updates, and stuff like that later. But as far as achievements for the PvE update, right now they're not planned. That I know of. I can always double check closer to the update thing, I'll put that in the thread. But when I asked, they said they're not planned. This should stop clan hopping that was prevalent in Plunder Wars, as now there's no reason. Mainly, the whole thing that was buggy with Plunder Wars is, yes, it's a great way to go and get money, but basically a Plunder Wars, you go off and hit an OSF, or a player that's made to give you money via, free hits. But in the Plunder War system, or in the war system, the whole idea was that you could pay the guy for letting him hit you for free by basically just surrendering and letting him win the war. So it's going to stop clan hopping, basically jumping over, getting hits in, jumping over, getting hits in, etc., and just going wherever the Plunder War is, as you'll be able to make all that good money in your clan without having to jump around to where the action currently is via PvP in a weird twisted form of Plunder Wars. It's unlikely to enable potion use, as potions are going to kind of take away from the income, and potions aren't really used on OSFs and quests as is. If you go over and hit the quest button, I'll check my news and stuff like that later, I go, I'm going to quest. It would be good, and they're extremely difficult because I'm trying to do quest mastery with one troop building. But it would be nice if I could use potions, but yeah. Look, I don't get a potion button, as opposed to, say, I go to the battle list and I'm like, you know, I think I can beat this guy. He's got 17,000 defense. I've got, 7,400 attack. Clearly I can beat this guy, right? I'm just totally going to go Lord of the Rings, bring up the undead. He uses 5 defense potions, but I use the top attack potion. This is low-level play, so I only lose 85 and he loses 710 as the undead completely destroy his army. So, yeah, I only got 7,200 attack, so, yeah. Potions are good for attacking. For quests, no, they're not there. When you attack an OSF, aka a guy that has no defense, you don't need to use potions, and it's just a waste of money. Like that potion I just burned. To help emphasize my point, was 12 million. I got maybe 100,000, but that's because I don't have max plunder. So, maybe not. Gonna go ahead and pop this back open. So, talked about items. If I can go ahead and find out where I was. No, the update's not going to be in 3D, but I'm just going to say that. People were like, will the update be in 3D? Will there be animation? No. Sorry, but no. You're not going to have to go find materials or whatever. Someone was talking about some random game where you have to go find materials in order to go kill the boss or something. No. I haven't heard anything about finding materials. I'm just clearing that up right now. And for those who are wondering, well, how will I get gold? I want money. Remember, these are all people coming from Plunder Wars. These are people concerned about this new update and will it break the game and stuff like that. You're going to get gold for every time you attack the boss and every time you defeat the boss. So you go and accept a mission, you go do that action, you get some money for doing it, just like you would for a steal normally if you were against another player, or an attack if you were doing that, etc. and so on. You might get money for assassinates and scouts, I'm guessing. Although I haven't seen for myself, so don't take my word for it. I'm assuming you will, though. Or you'll just have to do the steal feature to do that. And then when you defeat the boss, aka you've scouted all of his little eyeballs, and you've stolen his, his chair, and he tripped and he fell over and died, you know, you're going to get gold from all the gold that he was hoarding in his back pocket that you couldn't reach because it was too high for you at the time. That's why you had to make him fall over. I don't know. But basically, gold payout will be on attacking and defeating the boss. Added stuff that I got verification on is clan admin or owner will in fact select and or approve the mission. You only need one admin or owner to start the mission at the moment. So basically, there's going to be a series of missions to pick from. You're going to go and look at them, and the admin or the owner, whoever's online, or whoever does it first, since you guys are all going to be rushing to start the mission as soon as the update comes out, goes over, looks at the missions, and goes, I picked this one! And you do that mission, and you start it. There are going to be a time limit defined by the mission. You only have X amount of time to do the mission, and the time limits will be different as depending on, well, the difficulty of the mission that you do. But you'll see that when we get into the actual update. The drawback of failing a mission, people are like, what happens if we fail? Well, if you fail, you get nothing. No, nothing at all. I'm sorry, but no, you're getting nothing. We're not going to give you a cookie for trying. You got money on hit, so that should be reward enough, but yeah. Meanwhile, since this is called the PvE update, and, you know, we're implementing this whole clan quest mission thing, people are going, oh, well, will you help and buff, say, how much gold we get for quests, normal quests, you know, the one that just has like one line and you hit a button and it goes do quest, and no, you're not getting extra money for hitting the do quest button. So, not planned at the moment, but maybe long term they'll buff it. As far as a PvE leaderboard or ranking system, for the first update, no, there's going to be no PvE leaderboard. However, the devs did tell me that they are in fact tracking the stats on the back end, so this basically means that it's getting stored in some fancy file that no one can see except for the devs. So they could possibly add in a PvE ranking system in the future. For those who are wondering, wow, this all sounds really awesome and amazing, I want it now, I can't wait for this next update. Do remember that the update will be deployed in 5 separate stages over the next few months. So the initial update is basically going to give you missions, it's going to give you a few stuff to choose from, but it's not going to be that complex. Over the next for other updates, they're going to go ahead and make it more and more complex, add on more content, etc. Something that's kind of interesting, well, before I get to that, each stage will in fact require a new client update, so you're going to have to go ahead and go into Apple and hit the download button. It's not going to be automatic, but remember, Kingdoms at War is free. If you're on the PC, you won't have to worry about this, but it's going to expand on the update, provide more flexibility. Update won't be animated. I talked about this, but devs did say while it's not animated, there's going to be effects and way cooler images. They used caps for this, way cooler, way. They've been integrating more Apple UI standards for animation, but they're not going to have moving animations. I talked about that. And as far as for people going, achievement bonuses, they've been a possibility since achievements came out. No, they're not coming out for this update. They said specifically, to use quotes, the ability was created when the initial achievement system was developed. However, the extreme effect of the community on the community and including achievement bonuses has not and cannot be easily determined. If there were plans to deploy them, they would not need a client update. Basically, when they come up with achievement bonuses and how they're going to affect the community, it's just going to happen. You're going to log into the game and you're going to go, oh, I suddenly have these achievement bonuses. It might not even tell you. You might just have to go, oh, I'm winning more battles or something. You'll go and you'll look and there'll be bonuses there. There's not going to be a fancy update for that. Now, something that's kind of interesting is that Kingdoms at War, if you go look at the quest thing, I'm probably going too long, the quest storyline is destroy the elf army before they get a chance to attack. This starts off with excavate a mountain to find rare gems. You go and you do the quest. And what does it tell you? Your soldiers found some rare gems and sold them for gold. If you fail, it'll say something like, the elf army destroyed your attacking forces. It's not really storyline per se. However, there will actually be storyline with the series of missions, I should be able to say. Basically, to use quotes again, one will be required to do all the missions to complete the storyline, some relying on previous ones. So basically you'll be given a series of missions that are each part of a quest line. You have to do them all in order to complete the quest. That's basically it. But to clarify the whole some relying on previous ones, since I know people are going to ask, and no, this isn't on the forums yet, I'll put these up later. To clarify that, with the current plan, missions may not be able to start without a previous mission. So basically, for quests at the moment, I can do this quest, I can do these quests. I cannot do the quests that I can't see. I have to master all of these quests first, and then I'll get to see the next quests. So, likewise, it's going to be kind of like that for when the update first comes out. However, in future plans, they may change it so that way the difficulty of the second mission, so say that one's the quest that I can't see, relies on the completion or failure of the first one. So basically, if you start the first mission and your clan just decides to go inactive for that day, or you get involved in a non-system war and people are just wailing on you and you can't actually do anything, well, I hate to say this, but in fact, the next mission is going to be harder. But you're going to be able to do it, as opposed to currently, where when you get to that spot and you fail that first mission and you're all sad that you're going to have to restart the mission. In this case, you'll be able to do the second mission. It'll just be harder because you failed the last one. So it'll be like ambush the enemy on their way to the castle, and you failed the ambush and they're alerted now. And so you go over to fight the castle and they've got those extra people and they're alerted, then they're going to be that much tougher to complete. So, again, as far as how spies and stuff like that will be required, well, remember, these are called missions. They have fancy storyline with certain objectives. So spies and stuff will be required in that. You'll have to go and use the scout ability, you'll have to use the steal ability, you'll have to use the assassinate ability, you'll have to use the attack ability, etc., and so on and so forth. As far as this goes, it basically means, oh, well, let's go ahead and use some poor guy on the battle list as an example. So this guy, he has 900 spy defense, so let's say we have to go and steal him 5 times as the mission, because it's a quest. And then, oh, maybe I hit that spacebar more than once. And then I go and I scout him once, and then I drop 2 attacks, and I scout him once, and I drop 2 attacks or something. But your whole clan's doing this, so it's going to be a lot more. and just trying to give you guys a little bit of an idea, but I'm kind of failing badly. So I'm just going to go ahead and end this PvE update thread. I went over everything. It's going to be pretty fun. Basically, PvE, player versus environment, there's going to be missions. You're going to be able to select a mission. You're going to be able to beat up the good old NPCs. And everything's going to get more complex and more awesome over time. And for people who are complaining that this will take away PvP, this will in fact shorten the grind. So you're going to be able to land complete, build complete faster, which is always fun. If you're warring all the time, you'll be able to get your potions back faster. So you'll be able to get back into a war faster. And if this isn't enough, they're going to go ahead and rework the war system after they're done with the PvE update. So we're getting to it eventually, but we're working currently on the PvE update. It's a lot of code. That's why they're doing it in 5 updates. So hope you guys enjoyed this. And oh, real quick, you guys always ask for a picture of Corinthian. But I'm always like, no, not going to give it to you guys. I don't really give out personal information. However, since I did go ahead and get this awesome shirt from the developers, I figured why not show it off, and so I'm going to go ahead and quickly say hi, provided it doesn't break my... Looks like the recording did in fact end, in case you're wondering why I was abruptly cut off. And yes, my eyes are hidden, so this is apparently a spy video, and I have laser vision. Possibly. Could be an X-Man. You guys don't know. But I do exist. I'm not a robot. I'm clearly not a dev or something. And hope you guys enjoyed the PvE update video. This is Corinthian, ending recording.